Yeah. Yeah. Hall of Famer, how did you not know? Championship, about to win a Super Bowl. Fans in the stand, love it when I'm in the dome. Touchdown dance, celebrating cause I'm home. Fleeks on my feet, running routes all day. Shotgun, wildcat, I know all the play. Could've been a quarterback, just put me in the game. I was born a champion and I just want the ring. MVP, I'm the best on the list. You can join the team cause we headed to the ship. Hey, you looking at a champ. Hey, you looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win. All I do is win. You looking at a champ and we going to the ship. We going to the ship. We going to the ship. Hey, all we do is win. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win.
You're looking at a C-H-A-M-P. Every time I do it, make it look easy. Better be prepared when you come for me. Don't talk me to death, you know that stuff cheap. I go hard on the west, I go hard on the east. It don't really matter either way, I'ma eat. You know I do numbers, 1, 2, 3, count on me like work easy. I can do it in my sleep, I do not know defeat. Championship rings on my hand, go bling in games when I please. Good night, R.I.P. Ain't no OT. You are not a champ, boy, you don't wanna be.
You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win. All I do is win. You looking at a champ and we going to the ship. We going to the ship. We going to the ship. Hey, all we do is win. You looking at a champ. You looking at a champ. Hey, all I do is win.
I should've known, but she plays me well. It's been going on for a while. She's telling me a million excuses I've already heard. Confronted with the way she refuses to communicate. And I won't deny she's got me hooked now. I can tell wrong from right. I can't decide if she worth it or should I stop trying. She keeps my foot in her door just enough to be sure I can begging for more, then she turns me down. I can't deny she's got me hooked now. I can't tell wrong from a right.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Spring 2020. Glad that you stuck around. I know that it was quite a gigantic break. I think it was like an hour and 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
It's because Tier 1 decided to speedrun Telecom War and definitely put KT down very, very quickly. And now we're looking to see whether Hanwha Life or Dragon X can do the same thing. We want to know whether both of these teams are the real deal. Because Hanwha did look much stronger than we expected in Week 1.
Yeah, they definitely did, and they also had really good drafts in Week 1. But in their last series, though, they did drop the ball a little bit, and that sort of, it derailed the train for me.
It was against a Freak of Freaks. A lot of it had to do with Keen being pretty good. QV wasn't allowed to play League of Legends for one of the games.
True.
It wasn't so good. But we'll see whether they can turn around that performance. One of the really cool things about this matchup is that it's Lehens versus Chovy and Doran plus CVMAX over the other side. So the former Griffin player now playing against Griffin players and the Griffin coach from 2019. But Griffin's actually, they finished yesterday.
Yeah.
Managing to get that 2-1. So interesting stuff here. QV and Haru once again at it. We'll see whether they are going to be able to get things working here for this squad. Having a look at the points of the game, volatile game incoming. I'm not sure whether that's entirely true, but I hope we have volatile drafts.
Yes, that is what I'm looking forward to the most, is what kind of a draft is Hanwha Life going to bring out here today. And then Dragon X looking for the 3rd win in a row. Now, Dragon X they've been bailed out a few times.
Yeah.
Of similar things that was plaguing the Griffin of old. And I'm living for the D word.
Yeah.
We don't like to,
It used to be scaling was the naughty word. Now draft is
yeah.
the naughty word.
No draft, right.
We're allowed to say scaling as much as we want because no one really does it anymore. And as soon as it's a scaling composition, then actually that just means that they've probably drafted themselves for a cohesive late-game composition.
I like the final point in regards to Kyria versus Lehens.
Yeah, that's cool.
We'll see what both of them can end up doing. Lehens definitely a bit of a cerebral support player.
Yeah.
And that is what he's mostly known for, as well as champion pool diversity. And I believe in one of their last interviews, they talked about how we might even see mix-ups with lane allocations where Lehens mentioned jokingly, or maybe not jokingly, going top lane sometimes, depending on some matchups. And interestingly enough, he alluded to his Singed. Singed is actually really good against Set. And so if there would be a timing for such a thing,
just for those
Juve
who
to go support.
Bit of a history lesson for those who don't remember. Lehens was an Elise support and Singed top lane 2-trick.
And he got
queue.
rank 1.
And he got rank 1
Got
with
rank
those
1
champions.
with Singed top and Elise support.
Yep. And we
So-
saw his flash cocoons on the Elise last year. Maybe it's time for him to bust out the Singed. As the Dragon X definitely look like they have the better stats, and we're going to be checking them out first here in the highlights. As this was from their first match, of course, with Quad instead of Doran. Quad, of course, their trainee mid laner, and Chovy did play top lane for that game. Some interesting statistics are that the damage done of Quad and Chovy added together equal up to more than that of Chovy and Doran.
Okay, well, I would...
Use that information as you will.
Wow, that is some great statistics. Would it have anything to do, perhaps, with Quad being on Cassiopeia?
2 games in a row?
2 games in a row with Chovy also lane kingdoming his opponent. Would it?
It may have something to do with that. That might have something to do with it.
I always love stats in a vacuum because they don't actually tell you anything. Until,
I know. That's my favorite
until you
thing
ask
about
the question.
stats. Yeah,
but
yeah.
one of the things I hate the most is when someone tries to use stats as the entirety of an
Yeah.
argument or as a conclusion.
Yes, but this number is this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Another cool stat. I'll have another cool stat for you. Do you want another cool stat?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Currently, Deft is sitting on a most played of Aphelios and has a 36 KDA and a 100% win rate. I believe he's died once. That's how you get KDAs of that gigantic magnitude.
So you mean that he died once?
He did. Not impressive. We needed to define
Honestly.
the KDA. Otherwise, it'd be undefined.
I mean, why even pick that champion anymore if you're going to be that bad at it?
Well, let's talk about picking Diana, because Haru was the original. As we, of course, moved over to have a look at their highlights. Some great tanking there by the set, just to make sure that we're not going to die here, as it is going to be the supportal combat as our key players, Keria and Lehens. Going to be on your screen right here, and Keria with pretty gigantic kill participation. My stat is actually quite different. It's 82%, but 80% is approximately the same. Maybe we've just rounded. But goal difference-wise, they have been doing a little bit more winning on the side of Dragon X, so you can understand that. But control words per minute as well, actually up by 50%, which is quite large.
It is. And the other thing about this dynamic is that Kyria definitely plays more around very focused things that are basically like objectives or team fighting and whatnot. Lehens tends to be all over the place in terms of his approach to the gameplay, and so Kyria has only really had one game where he did look questionable so far.
I hope that it was the Tom Kench game.
Yeah.
Because they lost that. They also lost the Nautilus game, but his Thresh and Alistair have looked fantastic. Alistair has been paired with the Aphelios both times, and as Dragon X will be taking the blue side, look to see whether Aphelios is going to be that first pick, because Deft is ridiculous on that champion and just in the bottom lane in general. But if you give him a busted champ on top of that, things are definitely going to go well for you. Lehens there to try and help out, make sure that they can take control of a bottom lane that can be very, very volatile. The young mechanics of Keria, the cool-headedness and just star form that Deft has always had, alongside the rest of this team, which we have been very excited about for a very long time, but I don't think their first week lived up to the hype, necessarily. Yes, they came out with back-to-back match wins, but they were close. You know, these weren't stomps by any means. They lost that game 1 to KT, and then followed up with a questionable performance against Sandbox, where it was sort of trading sinful drafting over and over again. They said thank you to Summit for picking back-to-back Aatrox games. I'm looking forward to see whether they can tidy up the draft and get themselves into fighting form heading towards the rest of the week, because it's about time that we start to make up our minds on who the top 4 teams are in the LCK.
We'll have to see who's going to come out victorious here today, as Doran will be starting in the top lane, and so no Chovy going up there. Even though a lot of interviews with players have alluded to what if Chovy goes top lane.
Yeah.
Some top laners have obviously commented on it, and I think it would be a really nice thing to see.
I mean, there's also the fact that Chovy was always known as like the Galio player, the Nautilus player, the like burly bruiser mid laner. He was off and on more of a facilitator, as CV Max especially loves to draft around these sort of like 1 damage comps, and did on Griffin quite a lot. Seems like the team really likes it, just Griffin as a whole, because they've been doing that around Viper anyway. But as we get into Champion Select here, we'll see whether CV Max is going to bring out some of his old strategies as we look to the future, because building a composition around Deft is not a new strategy. You can look at 2014 for that particular strategy on Samsung Blue. So see what is going to happen here, as we're taking a very long time for that first ban.
See what it's going to be. 0 seconds on the clock. Oh,
Whoa.
Okay. Well, that was...
So Dragon X waited for 0 seconds, and then Humble Life took 0 seconds.
Yeah. Really fast draft occurring right now, as Lucian is the ban by Hanwha Life, as well as the Akali.
Remember, this is Chovy, so Akali is a different story against this team. I believe that you will see Akali just permabanned against Showmaker and Chovy every single time.
And set. Gonna be the final ban by Dragon X.
So no Soraka ban or Ornn ban to come in here. Maybe Humble Life opting into just letting both of them go through. And now Dragon X with that awkward decision to make. Like, do we pick the Ornn for composition, try and flex it around, get it away from a potential Soraka, and potentially walk into it?
Well, the thing is that
know.
Ornn B1 walks into Soraka, so I think that in her current state, B1 Soraka might be the best. It might be the first pick, or it might be the best first pick in the game.
That's crazy.
Just because it shuts down so many scaling. Okay, well, there it is. There's the R2 on Soraka, and Yuumi is banned, so they won't have the Yuumi Soraka going, but it just doesn't matter. Now,
do you pick
Dragon
Kled?
X.
Do you pick Kled and then just try and like run at the Soraka and put her on a bear trap on a rope?
So Soraka can actually beat Kled.
Oh no.
Tryndamere is quite good, and then obviously mages.
Yeah.
Mages are a way of fighting back against her.
Oh, is this Chovy's first Zoe of the split? I think it is. It is. Chovy currently played Victor, Kiana, and Nautilus. And he's going to be jumping on the Zoe now, as that's an Olaf. Pioshik is Lee Sin. And we're picking it into the Lee Sin, which is often picked in to the Olaf, as that's a...
Oh, yeah.
My goodness. So you know how you talk about sinning drafts?
Atlas.
This looks to me like the biggest sin, which...
What?
As in, like, you know, you sin the draft in order to lose. This is like sinning the draft in order to win.
They are saints.
And this is how you sin it to win it, man. Like,
Lee
this
Sin is
awful.
the blind monk, and everything right now is pure on the side of
Are we talking about
Life.
Lawmaster Cho again?
I don't even know where we're going with this one. But everything is just really lining up. Now, the Zoe is probably thought of as, okay, I can apply the Bubble Trouble and then try to burst them in one pop before the Soraka heals can come in. But the problem is that Soraka is actually really good against Zoe, because Zoe comes out of her R and Soraka just places a silence, and the Paddle Star reactivation doesn't go off.
Yep. And also very projected as to where you're going to be after a couple of seconds after the portal jump as well, so you can just place that one down and catch the Zoe on her way back. A lot of different things that you can do.
Other
Execution going to need to be there, but Hanwha Life so far, a fantastic draft. It's been really good to see.
Now, obviously, you can have Executioners on Olaf, and he can apply that with his... I mean, it's looking really rough Hanwha Life just have.
Are they
going to
get some damage somewhere?
Well, they're going to have a hyper carry.
Is it going to be? Is it Kog'Maw? Does Kog'Maw come out now?
Kog'Maw's really good here, especially
I like hybrid damage when you've got no damage.
Especially when you have Ardent Sensor able to be picked up. This is the kind of draft that makes me very excited. They have the Shen as well.
Oh, I love Pyke into this comp though.
Shen's flexible right now. Soraka, Shen, and Karma are all triflex right now. Well, Shen's actually dual flex, but Soraka and Karma are triflex.
Yep.
And the Pyke is coming in as a means to try to get through the shields, but honestly, Dragon X are walking right into Soraka Karma.
Picking Aatrox into Soraka sounds
and
absolutely awful. Ornn would be almost worse.
Ornn is worse.
Oh god, okay. Well, how does Hanwha Life augment this Picasso of a draft? And Picasso, remember, extraordinarily famous and exceptional artist.
So you're looking at Jinx, Caitlyn, Kog'Maw.
And the Tryndamere? That's what we're going with?
So that's going to be Soraka ADC.
Have they just been listening to you?
Oh.
Is that what Hanwha have been doing? What is this?
No, go back to 2012 Atlas, okay?
I was going to say this is like back to the StarCraft days.
We lived together for 2 years.
Did you guys have drinks last week? Like, what has been happening?
We actually did live together for 2 years. I haven't personally talked to him since, when was it? That, was it Rox Tigers
Monday?
played against? No, Rox Tigers played against Forgiven's team. I actually talked to him.
Oh, wow, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. I spent a lot of time actually talking to him before the match. That was a long time ago.
Well, looks like some of the respect may have stuck, LS, because he's basically taken your playbook and everything other than the Carpus he has decided to pick.
Well, this is going to be very scary for Dragon X. Now, if they get ahead, they do have tools to sort of strangle the opponent and asphyxiate them. So, sort of the same thing, but...
No. That's the cause and then the effect. No, you did it.
Thank you.
Strangle leads to asphyxiation, yeah.
On the flip side, though, it goes both ways. However, Hanwha Life, if they're even, they are so far ahead. And so, Hanwha Life is winning, you're crying, and if they're even, you're welling up. That's basically what's going to go on here as we're headed into game number 1.
We are. Let's get onto the rift for it as Karma mid lane, Soraka bottom lane as the awesome lady. I normally say awesome dude, but Soraka's not a dude. She is a goat killing machine. In this comp, anyway. Cuve's taken the Ghost, a man after my own heart.
The triple region being, Tryndamere has one of the highest base HP regions in the game. And so the way that the HP region works on this item, it calculates based on your base.
Your base, yeah.
Right, so Tryndamere gets insane value. And Ornn, because Tryndamere is a monolith champion, has this kind of sustain on his base region with second wind, with his Q. This is one of the few champions in the game Ornn can't out-sustain inside of lane. So Ornn's in a counter matchup. Zoe is in a counter matchup. In the bot lane, that's where they're going to look for some aid, but Shen taunt into Soraka silence, into chain Soraka slows with Shen Q slows. If you get hit, you're dead. There's just so many gears and tools available on Hanwha Life.
This needs to be a massive amount of just pure player outplay from Dragon X for them to be able to win against this comp. This comp is just amazing, and already Vista is in a whole host of trouble. Getting taken down to half health, not great for a Soraka in a laning situation. She wants to use that health pool, but see whether Vista can land the Qs to get her in there. Because yes, we've looked at this glorious draft, right? But now Hanwha needs to execute on it and make it work. When I'm playing Tryndamere, by the way, I hate it when I crit minions because I'm like, oh, that next auto attack would have been a crit on the champion.
Yeah.
Dang it. I could have won lane.
Taking a look at, by the way, some of the runes here. Chovy, a bit of a savant, does have the Gathering Storm, not the Scorch.
There we go.
Like we saw some people sinning with earlier on today. Now, sadly, Doran didn't actually take Fawn of Life. He took Demolish. And so, Demolish is it's usually pretty rare that you would end up picking it. Turret plating has been nerfed, getting turrets in later stages. I mean, it doesn't serve all that much purpose as a rune. It's more of a solo QE rune than it is inside of competitive. And against Tryndamere, you're not going to be on the turret.
No, well, this is the thing. It's a luxury rune.
Right.
That if you're winning, you'd be able to win more using it. But when he's ever going to be able to do that, I actually have no idea, as Vista taken too much damage so far. Still level 1, as this wave is just massive in this bottom side.
And he's already burned through both of his red potions, as has Lehens. And this is a byproduct. Vista has yet to land Qs, so
they're losing so hard. I don't think Haru can show top, even if Doran's pushed up like this. Because that gives Dragon X the ability to dive and go hyper-aggressive bottom lane. And they're doing it anyway as, okay.
Well, that's the power of the Shen taunt, and I did not see if Vista had silence, but that would make sense.
I didn't see anything, but yeah, I guess he's just dead. As Chovy, he's going to get slowed down, snared up. Good flash to get out of the way of the Q. He had to wait for that one, as now Haru. Bit of extra damage because of that trouble bubble. But a bit of a disaster. That was their power point on the bottom side, as Cube taking a lot of damage here from Doran.
Has the support item. And so what we're going to end up seeing is Haru, depending on certain waves, Haru will come mid and end up taking... Oh, this is so beautiful, man. Let's take a look at how this all transpired as, okay. The silence, there it is. That's the combo.
Yep.
That's the route that basically says you're going to the Death Realm. He was calling for it.
Oh, that's Lehen's MVP already. Calling it now.
This is so rough. There's also no response to the Hanwha Life split push later on in the game when Tryndamere ends up getting the Trinity Force Essence Reaver.
Yeah.
Once he gets to those two items, and some people thinking, wait a minute, he doesn't use mana. It's not about the mana. It's about the stats that both of the items give.
Yep, crit and CDR.
Gets
two
the crit,
of
CDR, attack
best
speed,
friends.
movement speed, AD. It's not about the mana.
Hey,
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me about it.
What about what is the shocky item that no one builds anymore?
Static Shiv?
No, the other one.
Rapid Fire again?
No, the other one. The one that buffs those two items.
Storm Razor?
Yeah, that's the one. Is that the one you were
Get
talking
off
about?
the desk.
No,
What?
can't build that? I was just wondering. Because that's also got stats that Tryndamere really likes, you know?
Well, Storm Razor, I do believe, even got nerfed.
Yeah,
if you remember, it did lose.
But that means it must have been strong.
Oh.
No one was building it even then. So sad. Doran going through all of his mana. This is exactly what you were talking about. It's a bit of a fight, HP bar versus mana bar in the top lane.
Now, also, getting an early Bramble Vest, even in this game to transition into mid-game, is really good.
Yeah.
Also, I actually don't mind the bombies here as the first item, because you're always trying to fight back and actually shove against the Tryndamere. There's not really a lot of value in freezing against him.
Doran is actually doing a pretty good job so far on the top side.
He is.
Hopefully he doesn't build a Sapphire Crystal, as Haru taking a lot of damage here from Chovy. Great to see Chovy's Zoe back in the LCK, 18 and 8 so far as a win rate, but a 10 KDA, guys. That's what you've really got to look at. Doesn't matter what game it is, Chovy will do great stuff on this champion. See whether this composition that Hanwha have fashioned for themselves is going to be its downfall in this game. But already, I mean, he's double the CS of Tempt, but it's really weird because Tempt has got a support item. And so it's really hard to really understand what that necessarily means.
You know, I don't know if this is any coincidence, but did play against Tempt with this funnel thing.
I thought you were about to say, like, a few of the players recently followed your Twitter or something like that.
I did play against Tempt in mid lane twice last week with the funnel, although it was different. It was Karma Karthus and Soraka Karthus, so I was funneling the Karthus.
All right.
But I don't think he had a very fun time.
I imagine he probably didn't.
It's very insufferable to play against, because it gets to a point where the support item is giving so much gold, and then it just gives so much good stats for so cheap And as the enemy mid laner, it just doesn't feel like you're ever really getting a leg up. Some people might be looking at this and saying, okay, doesn't Chovy have a 50 CS advantage or a 40 CS advantage? And it's not really that much because the gold is being spread between the support item as well as the jungler.
Although Haru not actually farming super quickly. Of course, Olaf always going to be farming faster. But it has been a pretty quiet game so far for Pyosik. We'll see whether he stands up and gets some work done as Deft going aggressive. Hopefully Kerry is going to be able to recover from his early mistake. Something that new players find difficult is always having that mental reset after a mishap. Kerry being put to the test here. Pyosik going for the Warrior Olaf variety. Last time we saw it, I believe it was Cuz going the Cinderhulk instead. This time will be the Warrior as Haru in vision. Chovy moves on over but spots the control ward. Haru wants some honey fruit. Bubble. Gonna go wide as the Q lands onto Doran, but I don't think they do have an angle.
It's like a Venus flytrap, that bubble.
A little bit, as Deft is silenced, but now Lehens maybe overstep. The Q is going to miss the flash. Oh, Carrier made up for lost time right there and picks up the kill. Delivers the money over. The reset is oh so easy. Pyosik tanking up the turret, says you deserve it, mate. No turret's gonna hit you, my golden boy.
And that is such a big play right there because Pyke's passive giving
so much money, man.
Much gold over to DRX, and this is what they need. They need to stay ahead because with the Ornn, you can use the ultimate to engage really hard onto the Soraka Shen Karma and try to just break them before they get to that late game scaling.
Dude, they just went from basically even to 3,000 gold ahead.
It's a nice, okay.
Like out of actually nowhere.
And Haru can't really take that Q against Chovy. Chovy doing a pretty good job at just making sure nothing too catastrophic ends up happening here in mid. And also, DRX picking up that Infernal.
And also, Doran, listen to you as we check out the pro view from Carrier.
He says, let's see this, let's do this.
Yeah, and he knew it.
Really nice right there.
Super clean. And he'd already cast it because he knew that bullet time would have the damage. Ah, just love it. Really great stuff there from Carrier. And that was the caster blessing that time around. We were talking about whether he could get himself back in form. As speaking of caster blessings, Lehens in trouble once again, and Carrier is right here. Pyosik delivered. Signed and sealed. Gets the kill. And Lehens just went from God tier to not having the greatest time here on the bottom side.
And there's the Bramble Vest.
Oh my god, again!
Again, yeah.
Vistor in trouble. Pyosik actually hard flashing. Yeah, exactly, over the wall. Undertow going to be here, lands that one. Silence going to come down. I don't know whether it's going to be enough as Deft. Yeah, he doesn't even mind about your shields, Lehens, and his ultimate now is on cooldown. Dragon X have picked this game up by the haunches and decided, no, enough of your shenanigans. We're just going to smash you.
And I really like that they accrued all of these advantages.
Haru, another bullet time, but Safeguard was there. Def probably surprised that that was off cooldown after moving towards this lane in a minion wave.
They got all the advantages in the lane that initially fell behind. And then this is the lane that they need to snowball the most because of the Pyke.
Yeah.
He's able to come online, be so powerful against the shields.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think I have to. Doran has done exactly what you asked him to do.
Yeah, the Bramble Vest.
Yeah.
There it is.
Just really great stuff.
Really
Checking
good
out the replay
itemization
of a very aggressive Dragon X.
It really looked like Pyke is the evil twin brother to Shen.
Yeah.
As Lehens does end up getting brought down, and the bot lane is really falling apart. And even though they have an insurance policy inside the later stages, one of the other things that I have to point out, and it's not a slight at Doran at all, but I mean, he's playing really good in this lane. Tryndamere should not be this close still at this point. So, without obviously watching ProView and only getting glimpses of top lane, it's really hard to tell what it is that's going on. Cube's build is extremely bizarre.
That is pretty easy right there. Chovy just over the wall with the portal jump, but you get bone skewered, you die. That's what it feels like at this stage of the game.
What is... Yeah, I'm not so sure what is, okay. I think we're just going to have a solo kill.
Yep, and well, Cuvee does have at least his E and his ultimate, but this is only a level 1, and the Bellows Breath is going to do it. So yep, that is exactly that. It is a solo kill as Carrier sees the Q, finds the Bone Skewer. Doran, he wants a minion wave, so no. Doesn't want an extra kill. Not going to bite off more than he can chew. As now there's a bullet time just to clear a minion wave. Def just having the best time ever. If he can clear waves over and over again in the early game, he's a happy camper.
Yeah. And Chovy did his job this game. He just kept doing the 10, 11 CS a minute in mid lane. Didn't die to any pressure, didn't lose any turret plates. In fact, even got some himself. Take a look at this. E comes out, Bellows Breath activation, R cast immediately.
Oh no! Cuvee was also out of range of turret
Yeah.
plates, I think? Oh man, that was really, really bad.
Definitely a strange thing going on here, as Sunfire Cape almost going to be complete. Black Cleaver being built on the Olaf. Executioner's already on the MF. I would really like to see an Executioner's picked up on Olaf as well. It's all about just tightening. Well, I don't know if that's very nice to say, but basically, they just need to tighten the stranglehold.
Yes,
It's all
tighten
that
the
they-
screws.
Yeah,
Tighten the screws.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a thing, I think. You're allowed to say that.
I was going for something else.
Colloquialism, I guess, but Vista going to try and slow down Deft a little bit and then wants to vacate the area because Deft is very, very strong and has an Executioner's Calling. The worst nightmare of any Soraka ever. The Forbidden Book, not so forbidden for Dragon X this game, and will be one that Chovy will be building towards now as another one. It's just one of those things, I guess.
Well,
Carrier had that one whoopsie and said, nah, don't worry, guys. I got this. Had some of the Michael's secret stuff and then completely adjusted his playstyle as I think Def just wanted to have a bit of a laugh. That was like a mode spam. Pressing that R button.
all right, Pioshik, he picks up the second Ocean Dragon, and it's going to be a Cloud Soul this time around.
Maybe this is all part of Harmalife's plan. Give away 2 of the Drakes and then get to a point where they can get Cloud Soul as Haru.
That was so nice by Kyria.
Yeah, so beautiful. Just read him like a book, as now the Ornhorn has been called. Tempt, nowhere to run, just going to get knocked up. Another Undertow lands. Tempt, no flash available to get out of that one. The turret was killed in the meantime. And Carrier's just making plays before I can even talk about them. As you can see right there, was wondering whether the Shen was going to go for a re-engage, but sets up the stun just so that there is no option, much like he did to Haru.
Well, definitely a bit of a peculiar game. I think that it's all over. I think it's all that she wrote.
I think as soon as the double reset happened bottom lane,
That's what, yeah, the double reset, snowballing bot, the Karma and Lee Sin not achieving enough in mid lane, Olaf accurately assessing what he needed to do in response to everything, and then also Doran beating the Tryndamere straight up it's really perplexing.
to be honest, if you don't have flash and you land a Q as Lee Sin onto a Pyke, should you ever take that Q? I don't think you should ever take that Q unless you want to get stunned.
It's a mind game because you can respond with ward hops.
No, but he just holds onto the Q, and then if he ever presses the Q,
Yeah, that works too. Yeah.
and if he has flash, he's always stunning you.
Yeah, it's in Pyke's control.
Yeah.
But there is skill quotation marks.
I guess there is
involved.
like
Yeah.
outplay potential. If you can mini stun with
Right,
kick flash, then it's very different.
When I get to talk about stuff like this, doing VOD reviews or anything of that nature, I like to view it from the angle of who is the one that has the autonomy. And obviously in this regard, it's the Pyke.
Yeah.
So if Pyke ends up getting kicked, it's more so criticism on the Pyke than it is basically lifting up the Lee Sin and calling it a good play, because in the reality of the situation, you would not take it if you acknowledge that Pyke can outplay you, even if you're confident in your own ability, unless
Assuming everyone is a computer that reacts to each thing
not
perfectly.
even a computer.
Yep.
I hate that argument so much.
No, I'm just saying that. Like, in a perfect world where everyone has the perfect reactions, the Pyke is the one that is always going to
The Pyke's
succeed
the one
in that
that's
moment.
always in control, right?
Yeah.
And so in solo queue, you'll see it a lot. Lee Sin will take the queue a lot in solo queue. Because that is where people really just want to try to limit test, is what they call it.
Precisely.
But
and also, right, if the Pyke messes it up, then it's a free kill on the Pyke, and then you've got yourself a like momentum shift in the game. Like, you can understand the thought process there from Haru, but diving into 4 people, one of them being a Pyke, and using the Pyke as the taxi. Hindsight is 2020, but this is a 10k gold lead, and it has a lot to do with things going wrong in the mid lane as well.
You can actually see this a lot too in certain other dynamics. I'm trying to think of one that would be super obvious. And I guess the Leona, maybe trying to like Zenith Blade onto a Thresh. Yeah. It's on the Thresh to do the play. If Thresh does the play, you end up looking like an idiot.
And also, like, speaking of looking like an idiot, I feel like this is one of those games where we complimented Hanwha's draft so much.
Oh, the draft is really good.
And it's really, really complex. It's cool. The idea is great, but I just don't know whether they put the time into working out how to navigate it to the level that it needed at this particular moment, because the amount of snowball that's happening right now is like putting Nunu to shame.
Oh, I mean, Willemp is getting a little jealous right now, I think.
Yeah.
You know that image where the guy is looking at the other girl? Mm-hmm. And then there's the, so the guy is Nunu, Willemp's the other girl, and then
there's this
Then there's this
this game, this Dragon X experience. Maybe it's just a blue dragon face looking back.
It's a blue dragon with like a snowball for a belly or something. I
play my blue eyes white dragon. Well, that's blue eyes. It's not a blue dragon. It's a white dragon, isn't it?
Blue eyes white dragon. Yeah. That's fine.
I mean, the image.
You tried to go for it.
I tried. You know, I didn't play much.
And depending on which card you get, he does sort of look blue.
All right.
You know?
All right. There we go. All right. Thanks so much.
I had to save you on that one.
Yeah.
You know?
Thank you. Sometimes I need some saving. Let's be real. Thornmail actually just straight up completed by Doran.
Hello. Itemization.
It's a pretty great one into Cuvée, especially when he's not going to be building anything like magic resistance.
And you know what else I would really like to see this game is the Morella and Omakon.
Yeah.
Would be very nice, actually, as a pickup.
Do you know what Chovy's done, though? He's decided that he's got enough magic penetration, he's just going to one-shot, so he may as well... Oh, Lehens, that was an odd flash. Looked like he was trying to get over the wall, but is safe.
I have no idea what Tryndamere build is. He's built specifically only for Ornn, and so he just doesn't care about the rest of the game. And maybe now Hanwha Life are just going to go into full turtle mode and say, okay, Tryndamere, you split.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why he's purchased the Last Whisper?
Not entirely sure, because right now, I don't think that he can split against Doran. I think Doran wins that. He doesn't even have any mana items. Doesn't seem too bad on mana. He will be building towards his Catalyst next, I believe. But in the meantime, the bottom lane situation doesn't matter at all. Cuvé's decided, I need a Rift Scuttler, not a inhibitor. Dragon X, they are going to take it. And look, we often talk about this moment as like, now this is a lane that can't get farmed anymore. But honestly, money isn't what Dragon X needs. They need broken bases. They need access to Nexus turrets. And the snowball is completed. In games where it's close enough for it to be drawn out, that's when you don't want to be taking that inhibitor at this moment. But right now, it's about snowballing map pressure, not snowballing gold advantage.
And also, there's no wave clear on Hanwha Life right now because Karma is full support. And so she does not have a lot of AP on the super minion waves. And so it's not the end of the world. I mean, you have the Tiamat on the Lee Sin. He's also building Black Cleaver, which is definitely interesting.
Unless it's Trinity Force. It's not going to be Trinity Force. It's bad item. It's
what?
Definitely a bad item on Lee Sin. Not a good item on Lee Sin. You build Trinity Force on Lee Sin?
No.
Yeah. See?
But I don't think that's...
You don't think it's a bad item on Lee Sin?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
I actually don't know. I talked about this on Twitter about a lot of champions, actually, that build Black Cleaver as their default. And
maybe Lee Sin's an example.
There's an argument because he's a jungler, and typically junglers are function on lower economy.
But I mean, Camille existed for a long time.
Camille did exist, and Camille's a great Trinity Force user.
She is.
She is.
Maybe
but
not
she
as
skips
good.
the jungle item a lot.
Remember, you often need an auto attack reset in order to but Haru, like you weave autos just by nature of
Lee
like
Sin.
Lee Sin's kit.
Yeah. What is that on Zoe?
That's a forbidden book.
No, the active. You see it? Oh, she just used it.
Oh,
It was like a yellow ball.
Oh, it's the Shirelia's Revelry support item active thingy, I think.
Thingy-majiggy?
Yeah, that
Oh!
one. The Seal of
That does
Ascension.
the zippity-doodity?
Yeah, the one that gives your character life. As Carrier might be caught out, but is just going to dash his way out of there. A zoning bullet time just to make sure nothing else happens as now Tempt walks back into the Ornhorn. It's not what you want. Tempt now, oh, the wish comes through. This might be a team fight that they could win, but Carrier just finds Cube, stuns him up off to the side. He can't be the carry they're looking for, and once again, it's Carrier going God mode for Dragon X, a second one. Cube survives for so damn long, but Pioshik is still hunting for this kill, and Chovy eventually gets it. Flashes forward with a flash that he stole previously and takes down the Tryndamere in the end. This should be the end of the game for Dragon X, as it's a celebratory death from below for Carrier.
And Redemption actually comes in to stop the Ornn as Dragon X, yeah, they're saying that they want the end of the game here.
That's going to be it. Another one lands. These bone skewers are targeted, I'm pretty sure, as Vista going down extraordinarily low through so
Chovy's
many
dead.
shields as Chovy tried to escape, and he's like, quickly kill the Nexus before the turret shot gets to me. But now the Nexus is under fire. Some kills flying forward. Carrier is going to be taken down in the end, but Pioshik has one thing on his mind, and that is killing that Nexus, and they do so sub 25 minutes.
Well, it was a really exciting draft, but the game did just get blown open.
That was probably the best Pyke play I've ever seen.
Yeah.
How do you give up first blood and then come back and go like, hang on, wait a second, let's start the timer from here, boys. Start the timer from here, and then just completely pop off.
Yeah. It was something
This
straight out of a cartoon.
And remember, he's a rookie. Like, this is his first split. And to do that in your second week,
Yeah. Now he's vying
Kids
for
these days.
the rookie of the split plus the young.
yeah,
thing
the
award.
Young Player Award,
get the
our
double.
new one. He can.
And
he could get
get
Player of the
MVP.
Game as well. Yeah, he could get just straight up MVP.
And he could get MVP in the
playoff.
playoffs.
Yeah. And pro team.
And pro
And
team.
he's got to become a coach. And then he can win the last one as well. We're talking him up, but man, that was just a slew of just highlight moments.
Well, the thing is everyone on Hanwha Life lost their lane. Especially the people that weren't supposed to lose their lane.
look at that Ornn damage.
Yeah, the Ornn. Well, I mean, he's bashing on Tryndamere all game.
And also, when Tryndamere's bashing on him,
Yeah.
he's also bashing
This is-
in a result of him bashing.
Right. This is the reason that like stats are kind of funny.
Yeah,
Because
well, when
like,
games-
wow, Ornn must have done a lot.
Yeah.
It's like he was actually just.
When you're in a
against
laning
Tryndamere.
phase like that, you never actually get to a point where
Yes.
anything really happens. So
I like that game.
I loved that game.
I do.
I loved that Hanwha had
Today
this,
is a
this
much
great
better day
It
than
certainly has
yesterday.
looked up, hasn't
Yesterday was.
it? I left the broadcast feeling a little down yesterday.
I was very sad actually.
Yeah.
I went back and I had no energy to. I was depressed.
Yeah, me too. Do you know what I went home and did? I built a table. I built some chairs, and then I sat down at my new table on my new chair and put my head in my hands. But today, going to be doing something very different. We'll be back for game number 2 after the break.
저기. 애들 뒤에 라인 다 막혔어. 살았어. 하나만 놓고.
하나만 볼래?
오케이. 우리 조이 몰고. 하나만 놓고.
나 멀어. 하나만 놓고. 빨리면서 하지 마.
여기까지. 그만해봐.
길게 빨리지 마. 나 멀어.
틀린다며. 뒤. 가자. 갈 수 있는 사람?
나 계속 가는 중.
바론? 바론 갈래? 리퍼 넣어고요. 어려운 거 잡고요.
나?
프리스 봐.
필요 없어.
해볼게.
따라볼래? 어.
자, 천천히 봐.
나 고맙다. 안다 실수 써줄게. 너희 긁었어?
애매하고. 혼자 빼야 돼.
이상?
빼. 사이클 노플. 안돼. 살려라. 올라프 노플.
따라줘 제발.
살아줘.
아.
조이 노플.
아이고.
망했다. 내 칼 바뀌지가 않아요.
망했다. 아이고. 까비.
아야.
가자. 야 리신 가라.
아야 가자고? 아야. 탱 기다려.
기다려. 리퍼 도구. 어우 야. 자
나 걸어볼게.
야.
한번 봐줘. 이거.
필요 없어.
아 오케이.
나오게 할 거야.
여기 다 도구들밖에 어쩔 수 없어. 도구들밖에 없어요. 야 잡았다.
나이스. 가라 리신. 바이크 나 죽여 그냥.
기다려봐.
야 죽였다 바이크.
사이클 죽을 거.
끝난 거 같은데? 에이 막아봐.
아 미안. 까비. 아유 반점 차이.
자.
We are back after DRX take on Hana Life Esports. It was a very clean win from DRX, so I think Hana Life prepared a lot of things, but DRX was so good at going into their prepared compositions. So DRX, their color is reflected on their picked Misfortune, Zoe, Olaf. They won a very strong laning phase, and DRX managed to pull it off. Hana Life Esports, they were waiting for the Tryndamere one-man carry. He got so many shields, however, well, we have to hold on to the very, very late game. But DRX was ready with Ornn, who can be so sustained throughout the laning phase. So it was hard for Hana Life Esports to wait till the late game. So Hana Life, the key was holding on for the Tryndamere's power spike, but they failed on it. However, there was a super play coming out from the Hana's side. So, but if you're going with non-AD carry champion, you cannot stop the AD carry champions to accumulate the minion wave and set up for a turret dive. So this was an expected loss on the side of Hana, but Lehans made a super play. So, well, DRX bot lane players were accumulating the minion wave and setting up for the bot lane turret dive, and Zoe Olaf was already rotating to the bot lane. However, they looked so flustered when their plan failed, and Hana Life bot got the kill instead. But moving on, Pyke was able to stack up kills, and DRX got the whole lead of the game. So Hana Life players was trying to take down the Herald, and they did not really having a hard time picking up that Herald, so actually the bot side of the Hana Life Esports shouldn't be so aggressive. And DRX, they also didn't feel any big pressure letting Hana Life take the Herald. However, Lehans was out of position at that point. There was no reason for him to do so. However, he was outstepping in lane, so the byproduct of his error actually was connected to the Soraka also biting the dust. And then another kill was happening on the blue side of the Hana Life Esports jungle camp, because they were aware of where Lehans would be, but Lehans was once again stepping out of his safe zone. Haru was playing around top side, however Lehans was in the jungle of the blue buff, so he had no way out of there, and also another Soraka death coming from Lehans' mistake. So this kind of errors kept snowballing throughout the game, and also we also want to highlight how Kyria pulled up such a great and fantastic play. Some people could have worried that Kyria was going into dip in the enemy's territory. However, his teamwork with his jungler, and also how bold he can pull off some of the plays and Pyke was on point. He doesn't really play like a rookie. He got so many information about playing around the Rift. He looked so experienced. So Lyra wanna claim that Kyria is the best support in LCK. Let's check out the POG. And as we expected, it's gonna be Kyria picking up POG as Pyke. Well, Vadid saying that he learned a lot watching this game, Kyria playing Pyke, because he already watched so many people playing Pyke, especially watching on YouTube, learning from them, but this time around Kyria showed another level of Pyke. So if you're nervous on stage, it's really hard to do those kind of flash expectation prediction skill shots, but Kyria was so clean executing those plays. Given the information that how young Kyria is, and this is his first split as a professional player in LCK, this is just unbelievable how well he pulls up those plays. So another perfect vote for POG. going to Carrier's pocket. We have 12 wards on our voting results screen. And, you know, as an AD carry player, it's actually a bit worrying to have a Pyke as a support regarding the laning phase, but, well, today's game on Pyke was clean as a whistle. And let's check out how the game will go in game number 2.
So 12 out of 12 for Carrier right there. I was actually, like, I was thinking, I was going back to my memory of the draft, and Def did lock in the Pyke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was an argument for at least one person to have a bit of a Def.
We were joking about what if we came back and there was some people that voted for Def.
Yeah.
Well,
we won't go into it, but very glad to see Carrier picking up all 12. It was a bit of a no-brainer. And now we'll see what happens in the draft, because
what happens if it's a 6-6?
What do you mean?
6 votes or something.
What then there's a deciding vote of one of the referees or something like that, I think, or something. There's one person. There's a swing voter that just comes in.
Okay.
And picks that one off as Hummer Life banning away the Lee Sin from Kyoshik.
And now DRX banning away the Yuumi.
I would suspect there won't be too many changes from the ban list of DRX's side.
Juve can't play Akali. So, I wonder if DRX is just going to leave it open. And we'll see if Hanwha Life... Yeah, wow, we just got the answer right there.
I think Hanwha Life may have banned Akali on blue side before. I think it may have happened. As DRX is going to ban the Aphelios, respecting it.
Yeah. And now, are we just going to have an Ornn or... Okay, Rumble. Maybe they're going to try a different bot lane approach. Maybe they're going to do Rumble Soraka.
Maybe it'll be Rumble Soraka or the Rumble Senna that we saw used to great effect. It's certainly a favorite of the old Freak of Freaks. Do love the old Rumble. As, okay, DRX, what is going to be the first round? They could go cool, calm, and collected, grab themselves a priority AD carry and an Ornn, or priority AD carry and a jungler of note. It is once again going to be the curious DRX Nautilus flex situation that they do love so much. It has worked for them, but it was not a game that we thought they had done fantastically well in the draft with.
Looks like they're talking about a jungle pick.
Jarvan is going to come forward. Already a lot of disruption, and picking the Jarvan away from the Rumble team is intelligent. It does deny that combo. Speaking of combos, Zyra Khan going to come in from Hanwha Life. Means that the Rumble isn't going to be flexed into support like we were assuming it could, and it will be solo lane. Both Tempt and Cuvee do like this champion.
And Ezreal.
Ezreal? Could it be? It is.
So this is not the 10.3 buff patch.
No, it's not.
So this is going to be the most likely, it's still going to be lethal tempo Ezreal.
Well, currently Ezreal is 0% win rate in the LCK. Aiming played it once and it did not work. But Deft, he is a very different Ezreal. And there is no patch, no time in League of Legends where I will ever say that it's wrong for Deft to pick Ezreal. Because he's just that good.
You just need to wait until patch 14.6.
The Deft patch?
The base AD reduced to 1. Scalings are all down.
And then still, Deft finds a way to win.
You know, that would actually be really cool if there was a champion. Well, I'll talk about it. I'll save that for the wall state, actually.
Okay.
As Senna.
Ooh, thinking about an Ezreal Senna bottom lane.
Or Senna mid.
Or Senna mid. But because the Nautilus is so flexible, we should definitely not write down that the Nautilus will be heading towards bot lane, which is what we assume for a lot of other teams.
I think they want to choose their top laner. It might just be Aatrox. Or, okay, Karma. She's finally making her way back. And I'm very glad about this.
And I love Ezreal Karma lanes.
Well, we don't know.
I
if
love
it'll-
them
it
in
could be
like a
Karma
I
top.
hate them kind of way.
Could be Karma top.
Yeah, it could be Karma anywhere.
Well, this is what I
But
like.
this lane
is the
already
flexibility, yes.
Is one that has been employed against Zyra Khans in the past.
Yes. Very strong champion, and she was recently buffed a couple of times. And if you go in and look at it, if you end up building Karma off tank or utility support, she's really not that different from her heyday last year. So she was most recently buffed in 10.2, and I thought that it meant that everyone was just going to start picking her right away again. But we have seen her now twice tonight. We'll see where she ends up as Aatrox is locked in. DragonX going to respond to this with Mordekaiser, and I do believe Doran was the first Mordekaiser in LCK Summer 2019. Can't tell you the date. My name is not Papa Smithy, but the date, the time, the location of the sun.
Yep, the temperature on that day. What he had for dinner. What was the dosharak for that day? I'm not entirely sure. Dosharak, Korean for lunch, by the way, which is what we call our meal that we have between series. Today wasn't super great. I know that you have a different diet because of your allergies.
Yes, sometimes the food here does serve with nuts.
Yeah.
And I'm allergic to nuts.
Yeah.
So rather than my throat swell and you do a solo cast, I get something from the.
If you were in another profession,
the
I guess
Riot
we wouldn't
restaurant.
mind too much, but you do really need to use your throat in order for this one to work. So coaches are going to bow to one another, and game number 2 is upon us. It's once again a creative draft. This time, DragonX have put themselves together something a little bit different for us today. The Ezreal Karma coming in, the Mordekaiser for the top side, some burly boys in the solo lanes as far as the Mord and the Nautilus, and then Jarvan coming through as well. It's going to be largely on the Ezreal to do damage.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of glad that it wasn't the Ornn to be fallen back on, because Mordekaiser late game damage scaling is much higher than that of the Ornn, and I think that they would have been running out of damage if it was just the Ezreal that was in charge of that.
Chovy's going to be in there on the Nautilus in the mid lane. He's always managed to be very stable on it, so let's get into game number 2.
See how it goes. Tempt on his Rumble in the mid lane. Didn't get to talk about that really because things started happening too thick and fast in the draft at that stage. And Haru is back on his winning Diana jungle. So far, Diana been pretty fantastic in the jungle department. Coming into today, Haru was the only one with a win, but now Kuz is going to join him. Diana sort of surging towards the top as far as success is concerned. Good to see that the reworked version is competitively viable. I've always been a big Diana fan, just in general.
I like Diana. I was really sad that she originally came out when? 2012.
13?
13? Was it 13? I just remember...
No, 2012
you know,
sounds about right, yeah.
There was some time, right? Because Froggen, wasn't he doing the Russian roulette between Diana and Anivia during the OGN Champions?
Ah, yes.
And then
that
he ended up
was the
locking
days,
Diana because
right?
she was
yeah.
broken.
Yep.
And he couldn't decide between her and Anivia. So that's the memory that I have of Diana.
And
I
that's
wasn't
when
even playing
they got
the
to
game yet.
game 5 against Azubu Frost, right?
Yeah, I do believe so.
In the Champions Final. That was such an exciting final. Cast by our good friend Brendan Valdez.
Really?
Yeah. And I believe Double Lift and Mole Trap.
What?
Memory serves.
Those are
Some
some
older
names.
names.
Yeah.
Some older names. As Smite comes in from Haru. He steals away some chickens as immediately... Sorry, he takes his own chickens. His red buff was stolen. And now we're going to have Pure Chick moving on out. I got a little bit perplexed as to where I was. And eventually figured it all out.
It's fine. And now, talking about both of these team compositions, there is a lot of repositioning on the side of DragonX as well as a lot of mobility. So that's very helpful against the Aatrox as well as the Rumble in the mid lane. Nautilus going to be able to itemize very effectively against the mid-jungle duo, as Tempt also has Barrier, which is very surprising.
Yeah, that is an odd one.
That's a bit, yeah, it's a little strange.
I guess there is, like, inherently, as far as the duo of Jarvan and Nautilus, like upfront damage rather than consistent damage. So theoretically, you could get some value by popping the barrier after you get CC'd. I don't know. Maybe just celebrating the fact that there's no Pike to deny the shields.
He's not looking at his own camera. Pioshik, the ward did dissipate on top of him. And now he's going to go over to his Raptor camp. And now, because he only has 12 CS, everyone knows where he is. Diana, she has a very, very slow clear, by the way. That just took her, she finished around, what, 310 on a 4-camp clear. That is so slow.
Yeah, that ain't great.
For perspective, Karthus and some other junglers, Karthus can finish at 305.
It's like how every jungle stat is just Karthus, like every time. No shame. You have no shame.
You know what his flash art is, right? Like the angry skeleton face? Yeah, that's me.
That's you. Oh, I really wish Karthus started with an L or an S, I tell you that much. Oh, God. Well, Haru also having a disrupted start, not able to go towards the rep up as Lehens diving on in, but Keria offering so much damage back. Haru is in the area, but I don't think they've softened this bottom lane quite enough. Still, heal available, flash available, exhaust on cooldown. Is Keria maybe a little bit too far forward? Inspiration as Haru just here to try and get to a reset, I guess. But Pioshik's going to come down unseen on the ward. Decides not to invest the flash. I thought he might be able to get a double knock up there, but doesn't go for it.
He's ruined the lane.
It's still pushing, yeah.
I just came really close to an F-bomb. I have no idea what I just watched. You just lost your bot lane. The entire lane.
What? Well.
What?
Pioshik also now knows exactly where Haru is and is aware of his level advantage. Haru does get a little popcorn chicken and is able to at least even out that level range. Doran,
the bot lane is miserable right now, and Diana can't path back down there because of the jungle spawn. So Pioshik right now gonna try to solo this Infernal Dragon. Let's see if Lehens can sniff this out.
Well, Lehens actually was spotted on the sweeper of Pioshik, as you saw.
Yeah.
Putting that control ward down, didn't have an extra ward to put into that pit because he hadn't completed the quest yet.
And then after this, because of the proximity of Drake towards bottom, Vista and Lehens, they're going to respect this, but this is such an insufferable spot. Double longsword versus Sheen on Ezreal, and now Lehens, even while he's approaching this control ward, they have to respect that Jarvan could be in close proximity.
Well, the slack buffs to Inspire certainly seem good here for Keria, who's used it to great effect quite often as Chovy. Proccing Aftershock on Nautilus, not something that's difficult to do. Helpful here, as you, of course, can't interrupt the Flame Spitter. It's Chovy trying to spread that damage over time before pressing his E button.
Yeah, it's definitely extremely strange.
Alright, Lehens just going to share in a bit of that damage. There's Def, yeah, with the Sheen picked up. The classic early, I want to win this lane purchase. Currently double the CS of his opposition. Plus some change. As far as total gold is concerned, Chovy and Def just sharing. And one thing that I find really cool about this new Dragon X is that we have probably two of our best farmers in the game, Chovy and Def, now on the team. Because they love their red dots, man. They just somehow have huge CS advantages, no matter what their matchups are. If you remember back to Chovy's Jace game, I think it was towards the end of summer, it was just the most absurd CS margin that I have ever seen. It's not based on his like lane opponent or anything. He's just like bound more minions than he should have been able to.
Yeah. Chovy is one of the most stable players in the LCK. Always super consistent.
Yeah. And Deft is another person who's been explained exactly the same way. Which is why we had such high hopes for this squad, right? As Doran, Wooly. feeling as great, but able to use that W in order to get himself back up to at least an acceptable health range before he goes home. Hadn't actually reset yet. I actually assumed that that was after he'd gone back because he was looking for a recall earlier. But he's still losing by quite a considerable amount, 2 waves at least, against this Aatrox,
I mean,
who's already gone for that recall.
Bottom lane, though, down about 30 CS at the end of everything. And remember, there's the Infernal Dragon that was picked up as well, so a little bit. Okay, that was a nice.
That hurt a lot.
Rush, yeah.
As Lehen's walked into it, which is subpar. I'm hearing Carsajun losing his mind, as he may have identified the same thing. Chovy popping on over, but you can see this is a very scared Hanwha Life bottom lane.
Oh, did they?
Oh, that's very cute. I don't think they saw it.
Well, we're going to find out if they saw it in a second, as Pyosik has the ability to check it. And, you know, he might even actually blast cone over, and then
Ooh, that could be
unintentional.
dangerous, actually. It's going to be flag first just to check.
Okay, they're just going to actually give that up because Nautilus...
I actually think it's smart because Doran cannot leave this lane,
yeah.
right? And Cuvée
Doran
has
can't, and
absolute
Chovy's
inside,
yeah.
inside track, yeah.
Also, it does look like it's going to be Protobelt first here. What?
It's 80 CS to 40 in the bottom lane.
Just leave him alone, Atlas. You stop picking on him. Pick on someone your own size. Okay?
I don't think any of the players are big enough. Large man.
Alright, well.
Anyway, not picking on him, just saying that like this is a bit of a bottom lane masterclass happening right now, and you can see exactly why the Karma and the Ezreal were picked in tandem. Because honestly, this is a combination of champions that we used into a much stronger variation of that. As, okay, Tempt getting it turned around on. Great bait to come through from Chovy as he says, my work here is done. But the Cataclysm flashed out of the way of there from Tempt. Gets himself his scrap shield. The flash in from Lehens is optimistic. The carrier comes up, picks up that kill, and secures the assists for Chovy and Pyosik. And he's not done yet. Looking to try and clear out this wave. There's the Moonfall. Fair bit of extra damage, but Haru, that is a big bite. As now Pyosik looking for it. Another auto is going to be necessary. So many shields, and Pyosik was, oh my god! Turns it at the last second. The W going to be there for carrier, but isn't going to activate in time, and Jarvan will fall. But it's a valiant death in the end after securing the kill I thought was going to be impossible.
I don't know why Haru went back in.
Yeah.
I'm a little stupefied right now, Atlas, so you're going to have to forgive me on this one. But let's take a look at the replay. Chovy locks him up inside a turret range with that anchor. And then Pyosik comes in. He's holding his R, waiting to see if Tempt would end up flashing. He does flash away Lehens, coming to cover him, but then Kyria here as well with the tether, as well as the Q coming out of Karma. And now watch this. Haru goes in, gets exhausted right away. Tether applied by Karma. Haru makes it out. And then I'm not, you know, I mean,
It's odd. I mean, I guess like he wasn't expecting Pyosik to be able to click on him that fast.
the kill was,
I mean, yeah.
was Aatrox's
Yeah.
every day of the week.
Look, you win some and you lose some. That was just honestly greedy from Haru. Did not need to suffer that death. And Cuvée now has the most gold in the game.
Yeah,
and it's only going to continue to get higher.
So they're trading right now turret plates up here in top lane for the Cloud Dragon, which Pyosik is about to pick up here. As, okay, well.
Mountain Soul going to be the Drake of choice. Probably not what DragonX wanted. Ocean Drake would have been pretty damn good for this composition. Being able to play around the Ezreal poke very effectively as Pyosik once again going to pay a visit to the mid lane, but they knew Haru was in the area. They don't hard commit. Doran trying to trade with Cuvée as best he can. Gather this wave together and take it down. That CS gap has slowed down as a control ward now spotted out here from Pyosik. And in goes Haru. Does have the Moonfall, uses it to pull Pyosik back here, and I just don't think he's going to have a way out. He doesn't. Haru just going to solo him down. Not going to allow the rest of his team to join in on that kill, proving himself after the little blunder earlier.
And he is also going tank J4. Been seeing that a lot more often than the full attack damage Jarvan.
Yep, I think this might be like the hybrid J4 as QV just bouncing around here. Death Realm not going to be used, but of course it's a dangerous one. Doran having to get out of the way of the last Q with his flash just shows how much control QV has had. And after QV's most recent performance, it's great to see him back in a bit of form here on the Aatrox, really demanding respect.
Deft and Kyria now have taken down 3 plates. Deft probably really wants the 4th one.
God. Oh, he just finds the Q, sneaks it through the minions. He'd already channeled the ultimate because he wasn't expecting it to actually connect.
Even Chovy thinking it's a little happy. Deft with a bit of a grin on his face.
Yeah, there's a wry smile on this little alpaca's face right here. Very happy to be playing his Ezreal and to be destroying the lane like this is certainly very Deft-esque.
Remember, Deft is probably the best Ezreal in the LCK.
Yeah, it used to be between
probably actually the
him
best
and Bang,
in the
as
world.
now Lehens is possibly dead. I think so too. I've always been of the mind that Deft has been the best Ezreal. But I guess now he's almost unrivaled. Because we had a few fantastic Ezreal players. I mean, Prey was also a pretty damn good one. As going to check out Deft's preview. It was honestly an afterthought, that Q. I think he was actually,
you know
as you hear Caster John in the background. The hype man through and through, absolutely.
You know what I love on these pro views?
What's that?
Is there's a small percentage of people that are like, why is he spamming? Why is he clicking so much? He doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. That's silly. Dredgeline was channeled, but Chovy still has to walk down the red carpet, opts out of it with a flash. His only way of escaping is now QV going aggressive against Doran, but the Death Realm's in, and these obliterates are starting to land. The passive damage really tearing through the Aatrox, and they trade it back.
Mordekaiser, he has the Haunting Guys now. Haunting Guys has the Madness passive, 10% increased damage to everything.
And he's got a Bramble Vest.
And
He's
he
just
has the
built
Bramble Vest,
purely
so
for the lane.
Turns out that Mordekaiser, once he starts spiking, there's not much that Aatrox can actually do.
And this is the mid game. Yeah, this is the mid game that we are largely scared of. If you're a Humble Life fan, this is where Deft has been unlocked, and now he's just going to fire Mystic shots at you one after the other until you just die. Okay, there's the Death's Grasp, and Doran's going to be pulled back by Haru. Not a lot that he can do here. Pressing the W pretty aggressively, but it's just not going to be enough. Can't get through all of those health bars before his own has been dissipated. But in the meantime, it is buying space for the Dragon X bottom lane to get to work on this outer turret.
And interestingly enough, Deft's Ezreal is very akin to a Caitlyn in the sense that it just keeps rotating and taking turrets.
Yeah.
Over and over. As his Mystic shots, I mean, they may as well not even be a skill shot.
He was expecting Vista to take the left-hand route.
Yeah.
But didn't decide to do so.
Leandri's Torment almost completed now for the Mordekaiser. Leandri's Torment also completed on the Rumble. So, very nice to see this item.
Yeah.
Instead of some other sinful items that end up getting picked up sometimes. But
also extraordinarily powerful on both of those champions. That Moonfall was very close to not hitting Doran, which, judging by how the rest of this fight actually concluded, might have been very relevant, as the mid-outer turret eventually does fall. The other Ezreal, I guess, that is of note is Teddy's Ezreal, and I love how both Deft and Teddy play very differently on the champion. Teddy was more of the blue Ezreal Iceborne Gauntlet player who liked to control team fights using his Ezreal, whereas Deft is the I want to build Trinity Force and kill you Ezreal player. As now Vista has been exhausted, Keria has found him, Chovy also looking for it, but they needed to wait for the Featherstorm. They do eventually, as Lehens has to watch his friend die. QV finds a sweet spot on one Q, but not the rest of them as the Death's Grasp goes wide. Deft looking for more, does still have flash and heal available, and that is a very dead QV. Point blank Mystic shot will be enough to take him down, and in the meantime, Pioshik's just taking a dragon This is the Dragon X we were expecting moving into 2020, given this roster.
What Cube was actually trying to do right there, for people that might not realize, because they might be wondering he doesn't have flash, what he's doing, there is a way to Umbral Dash through that spot in the Raptor pit.
Oh, really?
You can make it through with Aatrox. Yeah, there's very thin spots on both this one and the one on the other side. Lots of people don't know about it.
Oh, that's cute.
So...
Because it looks fatter than it actually is. Is that how it works?
I've seen some pro players even be surprised, saying, oh, I didn't know Aatrox could do that there. But there are spots in the Wraith pit that Aatrox can fit through with the Umbral Dash.
We're having a look at it here. You'll see at the end that Cube does move on over, trying to get him into that position, as Vista just has no right to be pulled up this far. I like that Vista did understand that the tether by the W is it's not worth using your ultimate to get out of the way of that part. You need to wait until the end, and then use it to reposition. But unfortunately, there are 4 members of Dragon X here.
You can,
he was
trying to get there, trying to hug the wall, trying to find the spot, not able to do so. And right now, Dragon X, they were just so far ahead, and they're threatening Mountain Soul.
Yeah, Mountain Soul in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, 24 minutes is so early, and also against this team composition of Hanwha Life, getting those extra resistances when Nautilus already builds resistances, you have full tank J4, you have resistances on Chovy as well. It's definitely feels good, man. Now, Ezreal doesn't have the Iceborne Gauntlet. That's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean this is Trinity Force. I'm in a destroy on 2 items, and I may not even buy a 3rd because the game might be over.
Yes.
That's the style to be played in this game. It's the optimal choice because that's what Dragon X were going for with how they've drafted and with how they've controlled the majority of this game. Just shutting Hanwha out. Hanwha's comp, theoretically, does a lot of, what a general LCK composition would do, right? You think of LCK, you think of we're going to make a balanced draft that can play towards the late game and win that one team fight, get a Baron, and win the game,
Yep.
Whereas Dragon X have decided, nope, we're going to end this game by about 27-odd minutes, and it's going to feel real good. And that's what Karma Ezreal allow you to do on the bottom side. I guess they do have some late-game insurance with a front-to-back composition that can play around a mid-lane. Nautilus is now Cube. Doesn't find the first Cube, but will find the second as Doran puts someone in the death realm. I believe it's Haru, yes, as he's starting to take damage. The Obliterate, it looked like a Proto Bell, but I think it might have been just a flash. Looked very, very odd as now Doran hunting for Cube. He has the Leandries. He's doing so much work here. Is the W back up? No, it's not. Big cooldown on that one, but he's bought time for Def to make his way down. Spots out this Aatrox and even lands the E somehow as Cube trying to turn it onto Carrier here, but Arcane Shift will allow the outplay of the Infernal Chains, nowhere that Cube was going. And a 1-for-1 trade, top laner for top laner, is the result.
Yeah, and that was really good. They also got the flash out of Haru. They spent, they absorbed so much time right there, and so.
Also actually sent Haru back, so basically took up the space of 2 people's time in that particular play. And now Deft and Carrier underneath this turret continue the siege. Deft with a shield on him as well, my goodness. Red buff is why he got that turret aggro. It's True Shot Barrage looking for Vista, finds him, but the heal is invested. This player is so scared right now, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, he elected to use heal instead of just his R, which would be a shorter cooldown. And so
sometimes you just
I think he's just panicked, yeah.
freak out.
That was probably his instincts. Just going for the heal as the default. And Temp just instantly shoving back a wave right now. And really, if you're a Hanwha Life fan, there's not much that you can really look forward to in this game. The Ezreal, you're not going to be able to get on top of him. The Xayah so far behind.
2.3k damage on this Xayah. For the champion that you look at as a hyper carry, that is certainly not what you want. As looks like more of Malmortius on the way here for Deft. Will have himself the 30% CDR from these items thus far. Not entirely sure what he has as far as runes. It might actually be towards that 45 coveted percent.
And it looks... Dude.
Haru just caught out of position. He knew that he had full vision there as the equalizer comes down. Maybe the time for a return as Lahend gets in through the backside, and this is a team fight for real. Def does go down, he takes the AD carry with him, and now Dragon X just piling on in. Cuvee getting obliterated and destroyed. The passive from the Mordekaiser are now walking down Tempt. They are just too far behind, and even if you do use everything to kill Deft, it's just not enough as Chovy gets slowed by the Harpoon, and I have a feeling that should be enough. Mountain Soul now on the order as that max range depth charge just not quite enough.
Chovy just wanted a hug.
He did.
That's all that he wanted. Oh man, you know what? The robot, Nautilus is walking there with his big robotic suit, and he thought that Rumble was another robot.
Aww,
and so
and he wanted to
he
give
just
him a hug.
wanted a little hug, and then Rumble, the actual Yordle, was like freaking out.
I've got like Big Hero 6 feels right now.
Yeah.
I love that movie. As Haru didn't love this moment. When the equalizer went down, I thought this is really cool, splitting the team fight, but honestly, they all dived for Deft, and in the meantime, everyone's taking AoE damage from everywhere. The Flag and Drag got a double knock-up, and all of this cacophony of action that you can put into the middle of a team fight with the likes of the Mordekaiser and the Nautilus just makes it so hard for Hanwha to target out one person and then recover.
And also, Hexdrinker on Ezreal now going for the Maw of Malmortius as his
Chovy
MR
found
item.
that one. Depth charge comes in and he allows Baron to give him a hand. Lahan's caught out. You just can't be pushed up that far. Oh.
I think this game is over.
I think it is over as well as a teleport to come in. Deft playing with his food underneath this turret right now. Doesn't find that Mystic Shot as Pioshik presses his R button. Flags, drags, gets out. Cuvee gonna go, but Doran finding a couple. The Haru picking up one kill on Pioshik. But now goes Golden and will be falling. Deft with the double kill. Vista, just get the heck out of there. Cut the losses. As Dragon X, they could move towards a Baron right now. They could do basically whatever they want. It's only the bottom lane left alive, and it's Lahan's limping back from the Death Chamber.
Yeah. Now the Baron has been started. They're going to be able to pick this up pretty quickly here. And then with the Baron, I can only imagine that all it's going to take is one shove.
Yeah. This might have actually been the debut champion for Doran. The Mordekaiser. I know that it was,
yeah, it was
Griffin that... but was it... I know Griffin debuted it, and it was Doran that played it, but was it in his first game? It might have been also in his first game.
I think so, against Aurelia?
Yeah, something like that.
It might have been, yeah.
Okay, very cool. Anyway, he's been piloting it very, very well so far this game, despite Cuvee certainly having some moments as we check out this dive. Wasn't the cleanest. Taru was able to pick up one kill, but honestly, Dragon X is so far ahead, it almost feels unfair to talk about these fights as 4 versus 4, 4 versus 5. This currently was a 5 versus 3, which is always going to go in favor of the 5, especially when they've got so much more money than their opposition.
Yeah. This is definitely...
Oh, boots of swiftness.
Yeah.
From this Ezreal.
He wants
Love
wants to move fast.
Yeah.
And Ezreal is one of those AD carries that can be creative with his boot choice.
Ooh, somehow Haru was picked off by that dredge line. As Mystic Shot lands as well, a few more of those, and that is a dead Haru bot. Once again, the Zhonya's is employed, and Deft needs to get back with his team. He survives for so long. The lifeline passive working out as Pioshik grabs one kill, but now Vista finding the auto attacks in the backline. Doran only just making it to this fight as he flashes to get on in. The Death Realm now going to be put in and does even things out, but Pioshik going to get chased out of this fight. Tempt trying to get out of there as now Doran, can you 1v2 is the question. The answer is most definitely a yes. As now Haru not wanting to jump back on this one. Cuvee burning down. The obliteration going to come in, and the World Ender not going to be enough at all. Doran pulls him back with the Death's Grasp.
And they are, I mean, this is...
It's going for a really long time, LS. Is,
Leandres?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be... Oh, it does! It ticks down! Another obliteration comes in, and the passive activation as well.
3,100 gold in the shop. You too can purchase that item.
And also for $9.75, you can purchase the King of Clubs Mordekaiser skin as well. My personal favorite, and one as an homage to that glorious performance of Dragon X's Doran.
And you can locate it next to the bookstore. We take a look, Def getting really over-eager here. Just going in a little bit too fast. Ends up falling. And Def used to do this a lot.
Oh, yeah.
In the past, he would get way too aggressive.
Limit testing. Yeah.
Inside
Probably
of the
not the
game
time to
and
do it.
Ended up dying at, unfortunately, a really key point. This could have just been the end of the game if they just took it a little bit slower. So they bit off a little bit more than they can chew.
And Doran is just absolutely ignoring everything that these guys are doing. He's just pressing his W whenever he has it active. Utilizing that shield very well. Not the immediate double tap, which is what you do when it's a passive situation, as then Leandries wears down onto Haru.
It's a great item.
Yeah, and in the end, it's actually a 4-for-4 as the dust settles. But certainly, I mean, I know we were talking about Doran at the end of that, right? And that was a great play from him, but he saved what was a disaster for Dragon X. So back to the drawing board a little bit. Only one of those Barons did remain. 2.5 minutes now on the clock, and they weren't able to utilize that Baron to do anything. So maybe just cool your jets a little bit, Dragon X. True Shot Barrage only finds Tempt and a Scrap Shield, soaks most of it. Chovy's real tanky. Just walking in front of 3 people and not worrying about it too much at all.
Well, seems like they're just going to give the red buff to Deft here. They might just pick up the Elder Dragon, aka the best neutral objective. Yeah, it's the best buff in the game.
Oh my god, Chovy finds another dredge line, but Haru, that Zhonya's button is getting pretty worn out, and Kyoshik makes his way out with his flag and drag. Now Chovy dashing into the back line there, gets the Feather Storm out of Vista, and it's like he's soloing down the 80 carry, flashing towards him now. All of the damage, another dredge line comes in, and Dragon X, it was a bit of a whoopsie in the last team fight. That was a triple kill for the Ezreal. And they will just win the game here. Another 2-0 today. This one very close to being sub 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be a 28-minute game, but there was a slight whoopsie.
You said sub 30. They might just do it.
Hey, they might. These Nexus turrets going down very quickly. They've got 8 seconds on the clock. 5 seconds to go.
Deft
6.
Trying to make
Can
you
they
wrong.
do it one more? The 50 goal goes in at 29:59 on the dot. It's a real fast series here. CV Max very happy with how Def played that one out, and a sheepish grin on Def's face as well, because he knows he may have overstepped a little bit on one of those engages.
And so the game could have ended a little bit faster had it not just been for the over-eagerness of Def inside of that Baron push, but nonetheless an immaculate performance by Dragon X, coming out here with a very powerful 2-0. Tonight was the night of 2-0.
It was, and this has happened.
We're not
this
used
happened
to
last
this.
week. No, this happened last week. We had 6 games, 2-0, 2-0, and then I believe it was like 6 games, 2-0, 2-0, and then 6 games again. I don't remember you and Valdez's 2 nights exactly, but I know we haven't had a 5-game night once.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It's been either 6 or 4, and that has continued.
Yes.
As Pyoshik being adorable for the camera. Just looks so young, LS. He makes me feel very, very old. Does young Pyoshik down there?
No comment.
Yeah, thanks for that. Please refrain. Boomers are people too, okay?
All right, well, Dragon X backing up on the stage. Chovy has...
He had an incredible game as well, actually.
Another game of
all memes
Anonymous.
aside,
Also played as Zoe.
All memes aside, I actually think MVP could go to either Chovy or Deft right here, and I don't mind which one it is.
I just think it's Deft.
I think it's Deft too. He
yeah.
completely slaughtered his lane, almost by himself. But still, I mean, Chovy had some pretty fantastic Nautilus mechanics, which is something that we don't talk about all that often. Carrier still being very good on the
Pike.
On the Pike, and the Karma was also
now,
very good.
If Deft does get the MVP here, it means that we will have a bot lane.
Yeah, the bottom lane to talk to
yeah.
in the MVP interview, which will be very interesting. Tell you what, though, the reason why we're talking over each other a little bit, we're feeling a bit flustered, is that we're so happy that we've witnessed some good League of Legends here today. Yesterday was so sad, and today, I know, there were crushing defeats for 2 teams, but it was a creative draft from Hanwha, dissected and destroyed by Dragon X. Things there weren't like you go into the game and you're like, oh well, this is over already. You know, it was one team played just way better than their opponents.
Yeah.
It wasn't their opponents played so poorly that this other team, no matter who they were going to win, right? Which is what some of the moments felt like yesterday. And this was just some pretty clean League of Legends out of T1 and Dragon X. As we have a look at the replays here. This comboing from Chovy actually using auto resets on Nautilus.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he had auto resets that you could utilize like that.
Oh, the anti-synergy of the Jarvan Cataclysm. Canceling Chovy's Q right there. And then Haru, I mean, Haru had a couple of Leroy moments this game, I'll be honest with you. One of them is coming right up. As Haru, he's out, and then he's like, but I'm in.
And Lehens is like, dude, like, I just gave you 2 shields to keep you alive. I just finished dashing to you. And you just do that to me, like, no. He was doing a lot of things around the map, though. I think he ended up with quite a few kills. And although some of these fights were starting on him as Deft threads the needle. Yeah, that little minion right there let Vista down. Straight up, he was just, it looked like he was clicking very close to his champion, that's all I'm saying.
Well, it was a bit of a massacre.
It was.
In the early to mid transition, and this was really nice to see.
What I liked,
fresh air.
Yeah, what I liked was that both of these games were stomps, right, from Dragon X, but they did it in 2 very different ways. Yes, the games ended very quickly, but the last one was Pike and the dissection of this designer comp that didn't quite work. This was our bottom lane, smashed lane so hard that we're going to be able to completely play around it. They were able to do so. They even accelerated Chovy and then moved Deft into that lane against a Rumble that couldn't really wave clear against him. And then they were able to just systematically ruin the map to the point where there was no way back in for Hanwha, despite Yubei having one of his better performances, especially in a solo 1v1 against Doran's Mordekaiser, which is one of our better ones here in the LCK, like we were talking about during the cast.
It definitely is, and I mean, he really showed off a really good performance on it here. Death Realm, Doran really quick to turn back around. Haru could have ran for the hills, and then Cube could have made it out, but they really wanted to kill him here. As Doran, I mean, there's no better general manager for Leandri Sale than.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think he got that outfit?
I feel like if you're buying stock, I get it now, because it's only going to go up in value.
I'm just waiting for Riot to buff Morel and Omicron. That's all I'm waiting for.
It actually, it's going to completely just eliminate all healing. That's what it's going to do. Just
buff it to
no
80%.
more healing. Yeah.
Something would have to go on with it.
Yeah. I actually think that Morel and Omicron is a great item to build.
Said what?
It's a great item to build at specific junctures in a game.
I can't hear you right.
But not an item that you should ever build by default.
I think your headset's
That's what you've also recommended the Forbidden Book in certain moments against champions like the Soraka.
Those are doctored audio clips.
It was today. My memory isn't that
That wasn't
bad.
me. On the desk. That was.
Oh, well. This was an absolute treat of a series. I know not exactly the longest, as Deft will pick up the MVP. I wonder whether it was 12 out of 12. Might have been. Could have been close. Should have been close. Maybe a couple going over to Chovy. But he played just exceedingly well. And
I mean, that Q really was very nice.
yeah.
Even had Chovy smiling when it did happen. This was a tower dive that was very well orchestrated by Dragon X. Vista not able to really get there. It's sort of like loading up a Vista computer nowadays.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the thing. If you're running Vista, obviously you're a boomer like me. And it's not really what you want. I'm pretty sure it auto updates to Windows 10. So maybe look out for the name change. But no, Vista's had some great games in the LCK so far.
Yeah.
These were not any of them. I think that Vista did actually impress me a lot last week, and hopefully he can turn around what was a disappointing performance here today and give us something more. Because, you know, they managed to take down as a bot lane duo, Teddy and Effort,
Yeah, they did.
and that is no mean feat. So very impressive. And speaking of bottom lanes, we're going to talk to Dragon X's after they both picked up MVPs. So here is Jason for the translation.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the Universe Translation, and we'll be hearing from the bot laners, Kyria and Deft from DRX. DRX is unstoppable, especially you guys got 2-0 victory finally. So how are you feeling right now? Hana Life Esports always go with fun draft, so we were a bit worried for it. However, they did show it in game number 1, but we were able to fight against it really well, so I'm really happy. Kyria, like, you look so emotionless, you look so calm, cool-headed, but I guess you were a bit worried as well. Because, well, looking at last year, well, Lihans was the best support in Korea, so I think I was a little bit nervous. Deft, Kyria, are you happy with him? Yes, I think I'm happy. I can read it from your face. Well, the rookies are taking all the POGs. Weren't you a little bit sad? Well, you know, getting their confidence boosted with POG is actually good for me. So I try not to get POG, but well, I accidentally got one today, I guess. So game number 1, the mind game between around the draft was really intense. So was there any adjustment seeing the whole composition of Hana Life Esports? Well, we were thinking for the support pick, and nothing much was left, so we just went with the confident pick, a Pyke. Well, you did die in the early phase of the game. However, you guys were coming back, popping off, picking up double kills and so on. How were you able to kind of pull up such a bold place? I got Deft, my AD carry, and I also believe that I am the best. So let's check out the double kill moment that I just mentioned. So you followed Lihans with flash, so was that predicted or your just fast reaction? I mean, I played Pyke for so many games, so I mean, this is just the basic skills. I just predicted that Lihans will flash in that direction. Deft, Ezreal. Well, it's not a favorite ADC in these days. How do you rate this champion currently? Because MF Aphelios is the mainstream, but they took Xayah and Rakan, so I was actually we're feeling really comfortable locking him in. So you still agree Aphelios MF is the top tier right now? Well, as for Misfortune, it can be a bit controversial, but Aphelios, yeah, nothing really there's no match for Aphelios. Skill shot on Ezreal was so accurate, so let's check out this highlight here. Did you kind of expect that? I was just like trying to poke and take him down with my ultimate when he was going base, but my Q landed and he died. But we saw a mic check. You weren't really happy. I mean, like, you were so careless. You weren't really happy. Well, that is my expression of happiness. Is that how he expresses his emotion like that? I actually haven't seen him expressing his happiness, so I don't know. And a lot of people say, like, you don't even breathe when you're doing damage. Is that true? So a lot of people told me so. I thought it, and I kind of don't breathe. Yeah, I think that's true. I kind of breathe after I'm done with the team fight. DRX on the 3 matches win streak. And finally, you guys got a clean win. Well, I guess you guys did have a day off during Monday and Tuesday, so what kind of feedback went back and forth? Is there any special method to get relaxed? We actually do not have a day off. We are on a tight schedule, so we are just like doing our work. Once again, congratulations on this sweep. And it was like the Collide, the best support in LCK. So how was today's match? I think I still have a long way to go. I will work hard. And Deft, the expectation around the bot lane is so high. What's your goal for the split? This split is so important to me, but you know, Keria, I've been practicing with him since last year, and I felt that he really want to show what he got to the fans. So I will do my best to help him show how good he is, help him show his prowess. So this will be the end of the interview with Keria, Theft, POGs from game number 1 and 2, and I'm going to pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, for your interview translation. I was actually trying to take a bit of a photo of the screen because Def just looked like such a proud father looking at Keria here on the stage after his POG performance. Was great out of the bottom lane. They played exceptionally well, but the thing that's scary about DragonX is that last time we saw them play, we were talking about Kyoshik having an absolutely incredible performance.
Yeah.
We've spoken about Chovy for a year and a half before 2020 as being one of our best mid laners, if not the best, as far as consistency is concerned anyway. And Doran certainly coming into his own here today as well. And DragonX move up to a deserved equal first place alongside the Afrika Freaks. Gen.G can, of course, get up there with them and can push ahead if they win their next matchup. Yet to see them. We'll see them tomorrow for Friday's games. They'll be up against Damwon Gaming. Damwon could ruin their day. If Gen.G win 2-0, though, they will be outright ahead. And that is going to be that matchup as Griffin and APK Prince, our two bottom-rung teams. Although Griffin have found themselves one win, I think, which has put them ahead of KT at this stage.
Well,
but coming into this week, they were both out 0-4 as far as game wins.
That's going to be certainly a way to close the bottom of the standings, because whoever does end up winning that, you'll flip.
Yeah.
And then from there...
And also, remember, like, Griffin did win that Sandbox series, but it made everyone really sad. It's not going to be sort of, I guess, a judgment point that we're going to make. And if Griffin are able to win against APK very convincingly, then we will be able to start talking about them then as being middle of the table. But guys, a very quick night tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you for more LCK action when we get to the middle of the week tomorrow for Friday's games. Be on the lookout for Gen.G trying to get towards the top of the standings. But for now, good night.
And I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever in the dark, I'd see